Good day, everyone. Do you know most people hear words, but very few truly listen? Are you one of them? What if the biggest problem in that relationship is not what you say, but how you listen? So, how do you listen? But you can truly change your connection in your conversation today just by changing how you listen. It's so important. Listening is not passive. It is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. It's a powerful skill in communication. So in this episode, we shall be sharing on the topic how you can become an active listener. For you to live with gladness, you need to take this personal responsibility to become an active listener. My name remains Mrs. Sophia Kiwamu. Remember to live with gladness. It is your personal responsibility. This reminds me of a friend whose friend was invited for an event and he didn't show up because he was not an active listener. So he replied defensively, I was busy, I have my own life to live. And that created a dismissal in a conflict that escalated. Their relationship became strained, but she was an active listener. So she responded, it would have been better to say, I am sorry, I can see that you are really hot. I should have told you earlier, I wouldn't make it. Shoma heard and understood, and the conflict was resolved peacefully. Their relationship restored back. They became stronger because of active listening. It reduces conflict. It strengthens emotional connection. You can see the problem that came up just because it did not respond carefully. He listened and responded casually. Therefore, you can change your relationship today just by changing how you listen. The scripture in James chapter 1 and verse 19, wherefore, my beloved brothers, brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. This is the core principle of an active listener. Listen first, speak carefully, and stay calm is important. So active listening is a skill of full focusing, understanding, responding to, and remembering what another person is saying, not just hearing words. Because words goes beyond the hearing words, but truly engaging even with the speaker. So active listening is a skill that we must develop, respond and understand, and goes beyond the tone. It goes beyond the facial expression. Another person must understand and flow with you by truly engaging at each moment. Hearing is passive, but active listening is intentional. Full attention, avoid distractions that we are seeing right away. Show interest even in the discussion with your eye contact, nodding your head, and also simple words go on. Avoid interrupting the speaker. It's so important. Reflect and paraphrase when you are listening so that you can be able to flow. It confirms that you are understanding. You are going along with the discussion during any meeting. Be an active listener. Learn to ask clarifying questions. What happened after that? That's a way to connect. You respond thoughtfully based on what you actually said and not by assumption. You also pay rapt attention. Is important. Active listening is very necessary. I've been overwhelmed with work lately and I feel behind. I feel behind. For bad reaction, everybody is busy. That's the attitude. It sounds like, oh, that pressure was there. But for us who want to be an active listener, it listens very actively, it pays attention, not just listening to reply. It's not just listening to reply. An active listener listens to understand before responding. Yes, many are inactive in listening. Many are poor in listening. Many are passive in listening. But it's important that we become active listener. This is when someone hears words but doesn't truly engage or understand. That's a passive listener. It can be caused by a lot of distraction, checking on our phone, thinking about something else while discussions are going on, being distracted with so many gadgets, interrupting the speaker, interrupting the one that is presenting the word, jumping into conclusion without understanding the full sentence, jumping into conclusion without getting right feedback is important. Listening just to respond is not an attitude, it's not the best attitude. ignoring the emotion behind the words. There is emotion behind the word, not the generic statement. Okay, go on, I'm hearing you. Yes, I've been really stressed about my exam, and somebody just responds, anyway, did you watch that movie? He went out of track. He left the main discussion. Yes, to become active listener, you must be engaged, you must be focused, you must be empathetic. Because opposite of that, that means you are distracted, you are disconnected, you are indifferent. Acting indifferent is not right attitude in relationship. Active listening is needed anywhere communication matters, because especially in places where relationship, understanding, and decision need to be made. It's so in relationship, things like romantic relation, marriage relationship, active listening is so important. Without it, small issue becomes a misunderstanding. Also in families, parents, children, siblings, it's important we pay rapt attention to avoid conflict, strengthen family bond. It creates peace at home. In the workplace, it's also important. Instructions can be taken, feedbacks can be achieved, ideas can be improved. Also, it reduces mistakes and increases productivity. During conflict, even disagreement, active listening is so important. It helps us to fully understand before giving solution. It turns argument into understanding. Also in counseling, emotional connection is so important to build an atmosphere that helps us to understand the other person. And even in leadership roles, good leaders are good listeners. Very important. Good leaders. Also in spiritual atmosphere, teaching and prayers, you need to be an active listener. Active listening is a teachable heart. Active listening is needed anywhere people connect, share opinion, discussions are made. It makes the relationship meaningful and it deepens understanding. And you see a lot of people, some people are reflective in their listening. That's understanding clearly. They are reflective as you're talking, they are reflecting. Some are empathetic by feeling the emotions. Some also are informative, engaging. That is, they're learning a lot as you're talking. Some are critically listening, analyzing, evaluating, and also some are appreciating, having as you're speaking, supportive, and while some are supportive in their creating safe environment. Yet it's so important that we learn how to become active. Remember, it is not about talent to become an active listener. Rather, it is a set habit you can practice, and over time it becomes natural in you. Yes, so follow these practices as to build up this by giving your full attention to matters. Listen to understand, not to reply. Use your body language to show and understand the engagement. Reflect and paraphrase as the person is talking. Don't interrupt discussion. Ask thoughtful questions. It's important. You ask thoughtful questions. Pay attention to emotion. Avoid judging too quickly. Yes, avoid judging too quickly. Respond appropriately. Practice regularly. That helps you to, it becomes part of you, become natural, because you're fully engaged, because you pay a close attention, you listen to understand, and not just to reply, not just preparing your response as the person is talking. That's what creates a lot of misunderstanding. You focus on the message, both the words and the emotion. It helps you to understand fully and use the body language to truly understand the facial expression. It maintains comfort, even eye contact, nodding occasionally, and keep on with open posture. These signals helps to truly keep up the relation. Don't interrupt the discussion. Let them finish their thoughts. Interrupting breaks trust and often makes you to misunderstand the major points. Reflect and paraphrase is important. It summarizes and helps you to understand better. Ask thoughtful questions. Ask clearly what you need. What part of that was most challenging? This shows your genuine engagement and interest, even in the discussion. Pay attention to the emotion. Listen beyond the words, tones, facial expression. Pause and respond carefully by the feeling. Avoid judging too quickly. It's so important to never to judge too quickly. Fully allow the expression to finish. Respond appropriately. Your response should match what you are sharing. Practice regularly. Use everyday conversation with friends, with families, within workspace to develop this attitude and becomes natural. This moment is about understanding, not just proving any point. Important message is so important. Relating with this young girl, even with the boss, talks, he has to pay quick attention. But because he was not paying attention, everything was just confusion. So active listening is so important. I remember this young man who was a team member telling his manager about one of the team members struggling to meet up deadline because of the multiple tasks. Without active listening, he responded quickly, just manage your time better. Everyone is busy. And that was a very big embarrassment that brought frustration, that he was ignored, her own opinion was not taken, resentment was built up, and that created a lot of challenge. But with active listening, he was careful to, it sounds like you are overwhelmed with competing tasks. Which ones are taking the most of your time? She asked questions. Tunde feels supported and motivated. Work reorganized again, and he moved on, and he became much more productive and engaged. Active listening is so important in workspace, and improves our performance, our trust, even helps to build a problem, solve problems. What are those benefits? It's so important to become very engaging even in any discussion. Active listening has powerful benefits. It improves how you connect, how you understand, and how you respond to others. Things like builds of stronger relationship, build good value and respect when they are truly heard. This deepens trust in friendship, in families, in workspace, and reduces misunderstanding. By clarifying and reflecting what was said, you avoid wrong assumption and communication breakdown. It improves communication skills overall. You become clearer, more thoughtful, and more effective in both speaking and even in responding. It helps to solve conflict faster when you are an active listener. When people feel heard, they are more open to solution. Active listeners lower tension and promotes understanding. It increases trust and credibility. Others see you as reliable and respectful, which strengthens your influence, and especially in leadership team. It enhances your emotional intelligence. You become better to recognize feelings even to yourself and to others. Active listening is so important. It helps to boost your learning and understanding, and you learn more and become more informative even in deeper matters. It encourages openness, and people are more willing to be honest with you, and you are not judgmental. It improves decision making with better understanding and of situation and different perspective. Creates positive environment, whether at home, whether in school, whether at workspace. Active listening promotes respect and courage and cooperation. Yes, this young man also feel, oh, I spend a lot of time, we don't spend a lot of time together. With active listening, that was true. You were very correct, because we're overwhelmed with a lot of work challenges. They will feel disarmed and disappointed. He stops expressing his feeling. Emotional feeling was disconnected. But active listening, with that, so you are feeling like we haven't been connecting as much lately. Yes, that was what he needed to hear. What kind of connection do we now need to do? They created time together, and that brought about understanding. They planned intentional time together. Emotional intimacy was rebuilt. Active listening helped partners to feel emotionally secured and understand each other. Unfortunately, there are a lot of challenges when we don't truly have this active listening. It can be time consuming. Active listening has a lot of disadvantages. It can be time consuming. Fully listening and reflecting can be time taking. It can be draining your mental mind, your emotional mind. It can make you feel tired and overwhelmed. Some people may talk excessively because you want to get all the details. It can affect one's decision. Instead of giving quick decision, you're waiting to respond, and you need to have self-control to become an active listener. You need self-control so that you don't rush into conclusion. It can lead to over-analysis, trying to be too hard on each other. It is important to become much more careful. The goal is not to listen to everyone all the time, but to listen well when it is needed. Psalm 1 verse 5 says, a wise man will hear and will increase in learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. A wise man will hear and increase in learning, but a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. Active learning, active listening leads to growth, wisdom, and better decisions in life. better decision. Argument can escalate if there is no active listening. Yes, don't ever discuss without fully having active listening, because one can be very defensive as a result of not hearing clearly, feeling hurt, unappreciated. That can be the outcome. And it escalates problem, creates anger, yet trust is weakened when one is not actively listening. It's so important we understand why that upsets. Why is he upset? Was it because of the sentence or not? No, lack of understanding. It's important to acknowledge and respect each other. That's what plays out when there is active listening. Trust is restored, strength is rebuilt. Active listening turns argument into opportunity for understanding instead of conflict. It's so important. Most relationship problems are not just about what happened. They are about not the feeling, but rather they were not heard. They were not allowed to express themselves. Active listening creates emotional safety. Deeper connection is important. Stronger trust needs to be rebuilt. It's important. Look at these practical, real-life phrases that you can use during your conversation as an active listener. I hear. Yes, it's important. That sounds really important to you. That's a phrase that can help one to be engaged, even in a discussion. I can see why you are feeling that way. I can see. So what you are saying. So what are you truly saying? When emotions are high, during conflict, I want to understand, not argue. It's not a time for argument. I want to understand. You can even say, let's slow down. I'm listening. Slow down a bit. I'm together with you. Even in a situation where there is a lot of challenges, I'm here for you. You don't have to go through this challenge alone. That's an active listener expressing himself, and it calms down the whole pressure. To a close conversation, I am glad we talked about this matter. Thank you for sharing with me that concern. I understand you better now. Those are phrases that you can use if you are truly an active listener. So, how active are you? How active are you in discussion? Active listener may seem like a simple communication skill, but the truth is it strengthens relationship. It reduces conflict and misunderstanding. It makes people feel valued. It improves emotional well-being. It builds stronger trust and helps you to learn and grow as it creates peace even within you. It's so important that we develop active listening in discussion, in families, in workspace, in relationship, even in marital relationship. When people feel truly heard, they feel valued. Active listening builds trust in relationship. Is it romantic relationship? It reduces emotional distance and increases closeness and reduces conflict and misunderstanding, the confusion, the argument, the pain that people go through. It was just because they were not actively involved. It helps even understanding before reacting. That's why it's so important to pause before reacting. It's important to pause. It makes people feel valued. When you listen actively, you give someone the gift of understanding. The gift is understanding is a gift. It improves emotional well-being. Actively helps you to process emotion better, both for yourself and also to others, instead of reacting impulsively. It builds stronger trust. Trust grows when people grow, when people know how to speak and not to judge. It helps you learn and grow. By true listening, you gain wisdom from others, experience, advice, and even perspective. It creates peace even within you. Active listening is so important so that you avoid being defensive and pride. A glad life is not only built by what you achieve, but how you connect. Active listening turns conversation into opportunities and keeps relationship into an atmosphere of peace. When you listen to others well, they can open up and it becomes natural. Active listening is important because it transforms your communication into connection. It helps you to understand people deeply, respond wisely, and you build life filled with peace, trust, and even meaningful relationship. It's so important. Yes, you can develop active listening today. So if you want to go deeper in connection, learn to stop talking more and start listening better. God bless you.